Okie dokie, we are live for another week of carb addiction coaching with Jarod. So he was just telling me that it's been an interesting week, so I'm all ears and very curious about what's been going on.
Yeah, so I ditched the original plan that we spoke of,
Mm-hmm.
and I devised a new one. So I decided I could eat off plan this week because I cut out coffee.
Right.
Yep. So it's been about, I don't know, I think it's been 5 or 6 days now. I haven't had a drop. Sound like an alcoholic or something, but no coffee. And another reason was interesting is because I worked 3 double shifts in a row. So three 3 days straight of one day was a 16-hour day, and then a couple 12s. So very interesting on that. So I did not, I really didn't do much of the coding, schoolwork stuff. I
Okay.
was just exhausted a lot of the week.
Understandable.
Um, so yeah, little bit interesting. Nothing crazy, no binging. What I did eat off plan was just like I said, just some barbecue sauce at the Sub Shack, like normal. And my mom made some very extremely low carb pizza, so I had a couple slices of that, and um, didn't go anywhere else with anything. No binging, Um, no crazy. I didn't eat anything like crazy off plan. Like I didn't go for ice cream or anything like that that I knew would probably trigger me into more things. So yeah, so I stayed pretty strong with everything. I had a pretty extreme craving after one of my double shifts yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
On the way home, I was just thinking, I don't know what it was that came over me. It was just something like, you just need to eat whatever you want today. That's kind of what it was telling me. It was just like, just get that because there's this bag of Doritos that I keep seeing. It's this new flavor, and I've had it a couple times. And I'm like, God, that's so good, and I just keep seeing it. I'm like, my mind. This is weird. My mind's like, well, you only had like the small version bags of those. You need to actually get like the big party size bag so actually experience this. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. So
That would be good when you do the exception challenge because then you will pay attention to how quickly that change actually how quickly the taste actually changes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it might be good for your brain to kind of realize that it doesn't take a party-sized bag for for the taste to change, which is interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. Because eventually, yeah, I think I even noticed it when I've been binging and stuff. Like I'm eating this stuff and I'm eating it, and I'm like, this just doesn't taste good anymore. But I just keep doing it anyway
Yeah.
because I bought it or whatever. But yeah, I know what
Oh,
you're talking
you're
about.
still getting the dopamine from it, even though you know it doesn't taste good. So it's kind of like even more cognitive dissonance. It's just like, well, it feels good to do the act of eating, but it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Before you were enjoying it the whole time. Now it's like I don't even enjoy it, but it
yeah.
still feels compulsory to eat it. So
It's
it's
even
just
worse
like,
like when you feel like full and like when you're eating and you're
mm-hmm,
still doing it. Like you're like, gosh, I really don't feel like I could put any more in there. But
no,
you keep going with it. It's like,
yeah,
oh man,
I think we've all done that.
yeah.
So you said, I'm not sure if I understood this correctly. You said that you decided that you could eat off plan because you cut out coffee.
Yes.
So what was the thinking behind that? I'm not really sure I follow the thought pattern here.
The line of reasoning was that I'm probably going to be going through just really crappy withdrawals for the next few days, or just probably the week in general, which I have felt pretty lethargic most of the week. So I just decided that I wasn't going to like overload myself. So if I wanted to have a little something here and there, which, like I said, was only 2 occurrences, I was going to allow it just because I knew this was going to be like an adjustment week for me physiologically.
Hmm.
So I just allowed myself to have a little bit of almond flour and barbecue sauce. That was really the cheating things because I think the crust was made out of like cheese. So it's mostly just like cheese, pepperoni, and a little bit of almond flour. So that
Okay.
was that was my line of reasoning.
And so let's go to the barbecue sauce first. I mean, you've had it before, and I thought we decided that it wasn't a big deal. Like it wasn't actually off plan eating if it's just, or
No, I
what
guess
did we
yeah.
decide about that?
I guess I guess I guess I allow it, but I guess it's not my normal way of eating. Like I'm not gonna eat barbecue sauce every day,
Hmm.
just because I don't want to eat sugar every day. I think that kind of reinforces the loop. So I guess it was more. I guess I shouldn't say like off plan. I guess I should say like an anomalous meal or something.
Okay.
I don't know because I
Yeah.
don't plan on like I'll never just buy it at the house or anything like that. It's just like
Yeah.
I have to go to that place basically to do it.
Yeah. So that's not a big deal. Yeah, I thought we talked about that last time. So if that's like when I go there, I'm having barbecue sauce, then that is part of the plan. Like,
Okay.
no big deal. That's just what we do. And we don't have to make any drama about it or thinking that
Mhm.
we ate off plan because I mean, it sounds like you've been doing really well this week. So let's hop over to the low carb pizza. Was that something like when you were there and all of a sudden there was pizza there and you decided to eat it in the moment, or had you decided that before you went there?
I knew that she was going to make it this week.
Hmm.
And when I made that coffee decision, I told myself like earlier in the week that I said, well, whenever that comes about, I'm going to eat it.
Okay,
It wasn't like I didn't know that it was going to happen and I just saw it and I was like, ooh, it was something that I knew about earlier in the week. And I thought, well,
perfect.
yeah, so it wasn't like an extremely impulsive, it wasn't like the protein bar.
Mhm.
So, and
But
then like I said, go ahead.
this is just perfect because when you're eating off plan, if you like, by planning ahead of time, you're not reinforcing the craving habit loop. You're just deciding that whenever I go to my mom, I'm gonna have her low carb pizza because I know that she's gonna make it. No problem. This doesn't interfere with the work that you're doing in any shape or fashion at all.
Okay.
The only thing that this does is maybe that you ate some almond flour that maybe you don't want to eat for a different reason. But when it comes to the cravings, this is not a problem at all. That's why we want to use planning, because once you decided and you could just eat it guilt free, be happy with that, and no problem. So I don't see a problem with anything that you have been eating this week at all, unless there's something you haven't told me about.
Well, there's something I can't remember, but if it was something that it was I shouldn't have, I would remember it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So I would like to know a little bit about like how much cravings have you had and how have you handled them this week?
For food, I don't feel like it's it's really been that much. Like it feels that like the cravings are kind of dropping off a lot more,
Hmm.
but cravings for like, you know, more sexual stuff is just like it seems like they're extremely potent. They're more aggressive, I would say. It seems like they're more make me feel like I'm losing control of myself.
Hmm.
So yeah, the food stuff is pretty tamed out. Like I said, I have them here and there. Like I was out with my mom while we were waiting for the dog to get groomed, and we were sitting at the park, and I saw this road sign that was pointing toward like the shops up ahead, and it was like Yummy's frozen yogurt, and I was like, frozen yogurt, and it was like a nice little craving, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay, I hear you. Yeah, I've craved that place a lot, but I've never really gone. But they don't really hit me that hard. They don't hit me as hard as they used to.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks that once again, I guess I get hard on myself because my my line of thinking is as well. You're just more actively addicted to like sexual stuff right now, like masturbation. You're more actively addicted to that. So you know, like always, you have something always running in the background addiction wise, and you're just more engaged in that one right now, and the food one will probably creep up later, and you'll be unsuccessful with that. Those are thoughts that run through my mind. I know that they're not true, but at the same time, it's difficult for me to argue with them, I suppose, just because it seems like a similar pattern that I've experienced for a lot of my life.
Yeah, so now you're like, well, of course, food isn't the problem because now you're more addicted to this. And then, well, it's not actually true. So what is it a problem that your brain offers up the thought that, oh, well, now you're just going to be more addicted to other stuff?
Is it a what'd you
Is it
say?
a problem? Is it a problem that your brain tells you these things? Like, do
Well,
you
I
buy
mean,
into them? Do they cause you any problems?
it kind of. I mean, I guess it's causing me a problem that I shouldn't really listen to. It's just making me feel like I'm not really progressing because I feel like I'm still kind of somewhat in the same place, even though I would say that I have made progress. But I guess it just causes drama.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What if you're actually making a lot of progress? Could that be true?
It could be true. Yes. It's one of those things again, like I guess we talked about in earlier sessions that I don't it's like I don't feel like I'm making the progress, even though most likely I am, and I'm just not giving myself credit for it because I don't necessarily feel the results.
So what if this is just like one of those accounts where you put money in and then you get all the interest paid out by the end when it expires?
Yeah, it's something that's probably a little bit more delayed, but the progress I'm making will have a nice payoff in the future. But I guess it's just me still being like in my pattern of addicted to instant gratification. It's just not instant enough for me. That's why I guess I'm feeling impatient about
Yeah, that would make sense.
it.
So tell me, in what ways could we actually say that you have made a lot of progress? How is it true that you have already made a lot of progress?
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is that I kind of I've uncovered and am in practice of a more holistic way of dealing with this issue, which is just the whole feeling thing. So I feel like there's progress in that, like this way is more sustainable and more doable than my previous ways, which is just, just don't do the behavior. It has not had nothing to do with the actual like inclinations that lead to the behavior. Um, Other ways I can measure, because for me it's hard because most of the time I just measure with like how long I go without doing something. So yeah, that's a tough one for me. I don't really know how to measure the progress. I guess I don't understand.
Have you ever felt like it's been this easy to just stop after having been on a binge for several weeks?
I feel like in the past, I don't know if I feel like if it was much different than what I did in the past before, because I feel like when I go on these binges, part of me just hits a point where it's um, like I'm just like, I don't know, I guess maybe it just loses its luster,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of just like, God damn, I just got to get back to fucking, I got to get back to improving again because I fucked off enough. I feel like it kind of was kind of like that this time as well. Like it was just like I just kind of hit that spot where I was like, okay, enough is enough. Like you've been doing this for weeks. Like come on, man. Like so I don't know if it was much different this time to get off of it.
Okay. Something you said to me last week, but that might also be the same. I don't know. But you were saying that it was it didn't take you very long to get back to the place where it actually was quite easy to just feel the cravings.
Well, that must be different because yeah, I wasn't. I mean, the whole being aware of cravings wasn't really in the picture at all in the
True.
past. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm back to not doing the thing, and
Mm.
it's okay. So here we are, and just just being in that way. So I mean, in that regard, that would be different. That kind of just goes with it was just something that I wasn't in practice of. So
And that is a sign to me that you're getting it, like you're getting how to do it. Then it's just about making the choice to actually feel the craving or not. So it's
Right.
not like you're lacking the skill right now. Maybe you need to practice it a little bit more to actually get in on autopilot, but you know how to do it. So I'm not worried about that part. So what if the next time you decide to just apply the same technique to another area in your life, maybe that's going to be really quick as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to. I know we kind of talked about like separating the different ways of the different areas of like addictive behavior, but I really think I want to like really apply this method to the area of like the masturbation and stuff too, because that's like, and that aspect of my life I've never had longer than like, I would say like 40 days of success in my entire life until I started doing it, which was like since like 12 or 13 years old. So I mean, that's like a part of me that just and that has all types of drama in my head, like, you know, you'll never get over this and stuff like that. So that seems like an area that, you know, even with like the alcohol and the drinking, or yeah, alcohol and doing drugs and things like that, I mean, those are definitely shorter spurts of, you know, use in my life compared to this habit. With the
Yeah.
eating, that's probably right there with it as far as time, but I've had longer periods of my life where I've had success over that. So it's like I really think that the next step is for me to just really dig in and fill these cravings with this, because I really do feel like I just lose control of myself, and it's just go through with the process. Like that's like with food, I feel like I've always kind of consciously done it, but like this habit seems just very controlling, like like mind control, and it's weird. So I really want to dig into that drama. I really want to dig into that that type of craving, because it's just it's aggressive. So
Oh, let's do it.
yeah,
The thoughts that you're having right now are not helping you. Like, I will never get over this. And it
yeah,
feels like I lose control. And it's like mind control.
yeah,
Like, it's completely not me doing it. It's just something taking over.
yeah, like demonic possession or
Mm,
something. I don't know.
exactly.
Yeah,
So let's start there and, like, okay, why do you believe these things? One of the thoughts that you had was, well, I've been doing it since I was 12, 13 years old. So it's a very long period of time.
yeah.
But knowing that, like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, you always have a choice. You can always choose what you want to do in any given moment.
I guess part of it's like I have recollection of being like completely in like even like recently like doing trying to adapt this way of um changing addictive behavior and stuff with feeling. Like I've been absolutely just in that mode. Like, okay, I'm feeling the craving. I'm feeling the craving. I'm feeling the craving. And then before I know it, like a couple thoughts get, either they slide under the radar, or I don't know, or but before I know it, like it's already happening again, and it seems like it bypasses part of me. I don't know. But it's like you have all the security on your house and something, but this thing finds the one little weak point, like the spot, the one blind spot, even though you've been very thorough in your you know, deployment of your cameras and all the different sensors and stuff. But yeah, um, it's just weird. It's different, and maybe it's because it's so much easier to do than all the other habits. It's just it's. I mean, all you need is some privacy, really. With food, you have to go and like get something and this that, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think it's like it just feels very controlling. It feels much more controlling than like the food aspect does. So
So let's check in, like, with your big reason. Excuse me. Do you really believe that stop masturbating will help you get to the big reason? Do you think that they're connected, or is there a disconnect there?
no, I think well. So in this whole like, you know, in this realm of this area that we're talking about, most people always have the focus on pornography. Like pornography is the problem. Um, it warps your brain. It does all this stuff. It's blah blah blah. But you never hear things about like chronic just masturbation. Like I do look at porn. I would say rarely, but it's mostly just like you go on Instagram and you see pictures of girls and stuff. But I don't use pornography to do what I need to do. So there's always been like I feel like I haven't seen like good enough, maybe not good enough, but like I haven't seen like actual good material on like the effects of like chronic masturbation. But for me, it just feels like it does need to be addressed because it's something that it's something that I want to do just because I just want to do it because I feel like there are benefits to it. But two, I just feel like it's something that I don't have control over because I'm always wanting to stop, and I'm never actually able to just stop. It's one of those things like the whole emotional self-control mastery thing. So I do
So if
believe
you
that.
were in complete control, would you stop completely, or would there just be like a limit to it? Would you want to learn to kind of, I don't know, like once a day, once a week, whatever? Like, what would the ideal scenario look like if you were in control?
So ideally, I would like to I would like to abstain for at least like I would like to go for like the 90 days because I've heard all kinds of anecdotal things about, you just because that all that is just it's energy and you're
Hmm.
releasing energy. Like it's the amount of energy you're releasing the constituents that make human life. So I guess the line of thinking with the theories and the people that proclaim this is that if you're not expelling that from yourself, then that energy has to go somewhere, and it's staying within you, and it's you're building up more energy. So that makes sense to me. It seems pretty legit. So I mean, if I was in complete control, I would like to go. I would just like I want to find out for myself. Put that thing or that scientific hat on and just
Hmm.
be the experimenter and do the experiment. See what happens if I go for quite a long time. It's something I've never done before.
Yeah.
Maybe it would genuinely like help me with my just maybe I would get better sleep. Maybe I would have clearer thinking. Maybe I would have stronger energy in the gym. I don't know, but I'll never know until I do it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah.
So, I mean, you know that I was doing a similar, I say, a similar experiment last year. I was like, I'm not going to eat sugar for a year, and then I want to see what happens when I do eat sugar.
Hmm.
And I had to do a little bit of coaching around that for myself on getting excited about it. Like, I really want to know what's going to happen. Like, I,
Hmm.
I was genuinely curious about it. But my initial thought was like, yeah, let's try that and see what happens. And I didn't feel excited about it the first time I had that thought. But then I just like, okay, why is it exciting to me? I started looking at that. So like, if we could get you into account, I just want to do a 90-day experiment. After the 90 days, I'm completely able to choose to do whatever I want. If I want to continue, then I'm going to continue. If I want to do another 90 days, I'll do that. Or if I don't want to continue, I didn't see any improvement, then that's fine too. And just be sort of relaxed about it. And this is my 90-day experiment. And then like, okay, what what am I interested in knowing here? Okay, you mentioned like maybe sleep, maybe energy. So how do we measure all of that? Is that something that you would measure throughout the 90 days?
Yeah, I suppose so. I think it would have to just be. I would have to just kind of check in with myself, and I mean, the only way I'll be able to measure it is if there's something noticeable that happens, and it'll be one of the few variables that I'm changing. So I would say it would have to be attributed to that if I do feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, if I do see some positive feedback, then I would probably get more excited about it and say, hey, let's keep going. But it may be a bit of a grind the first few weeks. I mean, and I truly think that it's regardless if any of that stuff happens. I do know I'm almost certain that it will have an effect on my dopamine system. It'll have an effect on my reward system. It'll have an effect on my motivation, all that stuff that's tied together. Because
Yeah.
I think as humans, it's all about as like little simulation as possible. To because I think every bit of because that's what everyone's addicted to. It's just that whatever high you get from something. So if you take away as many of those highs as possible, I feel like you kind of just life itself becomes a little bit more enthralling. Just the day to
Yeah.
day gets a little bit more exciting. You don't feel as a like you need this and need that to just be functional. And I think you kind of just are more grounded as a human being. I think the stimulating things are things that we should potentially, you know, for special occasions or just it's reserved for it's a very very more of a rare thing, but in society today it's just 24/7. That's the problem,
Yes.
and that's how I've been my entire life, overstimulated. So I mean, it just seems like for me it's a perfect thing to try to experiment with to go towards my goal, which is being that emotional self-control type of master person. And yeah, so
Yeah. So when do you want to start?
yeah, I mean, I think it's been a couple days, so I mean, we could just,
Okay.
go
So we
for
got
that.
88 days then.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has been 2 days. Has it been? Or maybe it's only been a day. No, it happened before I fell asleep yesterday. So it was yesterday around like 12:30 p.m. We'll just say that.
It has to be exact time here.
Yeah, you just gotta
Okay.
keep
We
it
have 89 days to go. So we're
89 some
one
change.
down.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's what I mean. And I can't
Okay.
remember the last time I went a week. So I mean, this would be cool if I could really get this week through and really get some good practice with cravings. Because I think this craving training will really kind of take it to the next level because it's a doozy. So
Yeah. So what I would like you to do for homework is just work out a system for you to measure what is happening. Like if you, I don't know if you can measure like maybe the amount of deep sleep that you get, or maybe you just measure the hours that you sleep, or how many nights you actually fall asleep when you go to bed, or whatever it might be. Like, and not just the sleep, but all the areas that you think that could potentially improve. Can you find a way to measure any progress in all of those areas?
yeah, I will try to do that. I'll try to see if I feel a little bit more energetic in the gym or just more energetic overall. Try to monitor my thinking, see how that goes, see if I feel more clarity. Um, like I said, it may take a little bit of time though before I experience that, but we'll try to be on the lookout for it.
Of course. And now when you remove this too, maybe you will get a bit of a, I call it the sugar blues, but like just the withdrawal from dopamine. Like there's no dopamine here now. And
Yeah.
you might feel a little bit down and everything might feel a bit gray for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, that might happen. And we're just going to suck it up and do what we need to do during those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3 if we're unlucky.
Yeah.
We don't know how long it's going to take or if it's going to appear at all. But we can expect it. And if it doesn't, then hooray, we won.
And I hear after a week, I'm really curious about the week mark because I hear if you do like semen retention for like a week, I hear that you get a pretty gnarly boost in testosterone. I'm not sure if that's true,
Hmm.
but I mean, we'll be on the lookout for that. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's just one of the milestones. You're like, okay, does it feel like my testosterone has gone up after a week? Yes, no. Am I like Superman in the gym now? What's
Yeah, do
happening?
I feel confident? Like all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could just be one of the things. And that's maybe something that you think about, and maybe that you can measure that in like how, I don't know, how motivated you are to do certain things. Because testosterone is sort of um, a hormone that drives you to do a lot of things, like
Hmm.
not just chasing women or whatever. you know,
Right.
it helps you actually get shit done. So yeah, there are different ways that you could obviously check that as well. Um, what else was I going to say? Yeah, you said it might be a bit of a grind in the first week. So I want us to kind of tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's
What
less.
if
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, the first week I'm gonna get so many opportunities to like sit with those cravings
it's going to be a
and
very
so many
opportunistic week.
opportunities to
Yeah.
feel really fucking proud of myself.
Hmm.
Like, can we make this a little bit fun in some way?
Yeah, I think that's a good start. Just flipping it from a grind to looking. This is just going to be an opportunistic filled week, and I'm just on my way to feeling better because I feel deep down in my heart that this will make me feel better in some way, shape, or form. It's going to have some sort of measurable. So maybe I don't know, just may not be feeling it today, but it's on the way. Just just keep more of a lighthearted view towards it instead of it's like this is extremely difficult task. We're never going to get through it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And you can keep your eye on the short-term goal, which is maybe, okay, I wonder what happens to my testosterone on Friday or sorry, Thursday. Like,
Yeah.
am I gonna feel a difference?
Yeah, like what's
Just
my gym session going
redirect
to be
that.
like that week
Yeah,
or that day? Like I'll be really excited
exactly.
for the Thursday gym session.
And that might be, I mean, it's so within your reach that it's hopefully quite easy to redirect your focus to that and like, well, I can actually hold off now and I can just feel this craving. Even if the craving doesn't go away, I can still feel it and then still not do it because this 7-day period is within my grasp.
Right.
And then we might find something, okay, what's commonly happening after 2 weeks? Maybe you want to figure that out during the week as well. Like, what milestones can I be looking for along the way during these 90 days that can maybe help me stay focused and motivated to stick with it?
Right. And
I think 90 days is not super long, but it's probably going to feel super long when you're on day 3 and you already want to stop.
right. Yep. Start waxing the Michael Jackson. Yeah, it will for probably like an eternity. But another thing I think will help me out, and I think I've tried this before when I've been on somewhat of a longer streak, was I would visualize the feel like I would visualize myself hitting like a week and a half or hitting 2 weeks or the year mark where I'm like, oh man, this is fantastic. Like I feel like a different person now. Like I'm so happy I went through that and like really putting myself in that position. I kind of like also visualize myself being on these calls and being like, it's day 90 or whatever, just like
Yeah.
just putting that into play and putting that into the quantum field or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think that'll be a cool tool. I think I probably just need to set some time to do that, like make a plan to do that each day,
Mm,
even if it's like a minute. You know,
yeah.
it's something,
I mean, none of this needs to take a lot of time.
right?
You just need to keep the focus where it needs to be.
Hmm.
So it's going to be exciting because we have things to look forward to. We're curious about it and we get to practice.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like being like a superhero these days, not doing this habit, just because
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like it's just so rampant. Like and I feel like most of the male population, I know females do it too, but I feel like it's more rampant in males. Um, you know, most dudes just literally watch porn like every day, and they don't think twice about it. It's just part of their life, and they have no awareness of what it's doing to themselves. And that's been one of the biggest reasons I beat myself up so much, is because I know what these habits do. Like I'm 33 now, and I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to feel like a lot of tightness in my body. I'm starting to feel like I have a knee problem now, that like my knee will just come out every once in a while. Like I'm starting to actually feel mortal. Like for my entire life, I've felt pretty immune to most things because I've never had any type of like issues.
Mm.
So like I feel like it's like more so now. Like really need to get on focus on this stuff. I know that doesn't it's not really super tied to the whole like masturbation thing, but I feel like if I'm not expelling that type of energy from my body, like then maybe my body will have more energy to heal itself. It'll have more energy to, come up with ways in my mind to improve and things like that. Like there's definitely a better use of that energy than just splooge into some thought on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Yeah, and what you were saying is like everyone is doing this. So you're like
everybody.
superhuman if you're not.
Right.
And that, I mean, seriously, that goes for the carbs as well. It's
Yeah,
like
I agree with
we
that
are
too.
anomalies.
Absolutely.
And when we can just walk around and feel at peace with that decision, that's when we feel superhuman. So
And
when
it's
you
and
feel,
it's weird
sorry,
because
go on.
we're just being by doing this way of life is we're being like actual humans used to be. Like, you know,
Mm,
when none of this stuff was really around, people were so natural, that was just who they were. So we're just being like our true selves, which,
yeah,
because most of these things that people have problems with are very, 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 very recent problems on the grand scheme of, humankind. Unless there was like alternate histories where technology was there and stuff. I don't know, because who the fuck really knows what happens in our history with the way everything's been censored
yeah,
and stuff, but who knows? But
yeah.
anyway, if you go about it like most people think, like this is a very recent problem, like the carb addiction, masturbation and porn. I mean, sure, people have been jerking off for a while, but there's just not been
So
as much opportunity with the way before the internet, let's say. Not as near as stimulating things to, fry your brain on. So, yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, and also that's where like the mental health aspect comes in. I think the mental health in the general population nowadays is probably a lot worse than it has ever been, and we just want to escape all of this.
Yeah,
And then we'll find something that works for us, whatever that might be. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna step it up. I'm gonna be that superhuman person right now. I'm gonna be in control of myself, and then I'm gonna help other people do that. Because you see people, you just said it, like I see people everywhere. They're just like they're on autopilot. They don't live their lives,
you know,
and you don't.
just the endless train of consumerism.
Yeah, who wants to live a life like that? Like if you get the choice, and if you're aware that you're doing it, you'll be like, well, I don't want to do that. The only thing that's in the way is like making the decision to actually face whatever it is that is uncomfortable, to start living a life on purpose,
Yeah,
the way that
an
you meant.
actual intentional life towards
Yeah,
building something for you specifically or your family or whatever, just something that you're actually aware of what you're doing. Most people I feel like are just literally they're just running on a program that society, culture, the powers that be have literally installed in their body, and they might have fleeting blips of like consciousness and stuff, but mostly it's just they're just playing a script, they're playing a role, somebody else's role. They're not doing it themselves. And like you said, if people were truly aware of what their decisions were doing and what their actions were and the implications long term, then they would probably want to make a different choice. But
yeah,
people are just ignorant and they're just lost, and it's kind of sad. But
yeah. And you
I can
can
only
help
do I
them
can only
do
do my
that.
thing for now and try to improve
Yeah.
myself so I can maybe eventually help those people too. But I just think that this is like the next step to kind of be able to get me there, because I do want to have that period of time where, I've gone quite a long time where I'm not engaging in any of my addictions. Like at that
Mm,
point, I would probably like there would just be a huge sense of satisfaction and confidence and victory, and with that type of attitude and feeling, then that can blossom into a lot more. So it's just
yeah.
something I really need to do, and I feel like I just keep putting it off, and it's just this cycle of like self-loathing slash like just focus shifting too much, like focusing on the target but then losing the focus. Like you said, it's just a matter of just keeping the focus.
Yeah. So what could possibly go wrong this week? Like, do you have any thoughts about it? What's going to happen this week? What are you going to struggle with?
I
Or
guess I'm
is
just
it
kind
like
of
it's going to be fine?
I, I think I'm just kind of just that first, like, well, I know when it's like, I know the different types of cravings. Like, I know with this habit specifically, I know when I have one, that I'm like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. Like, it's here, it is. I feel it. I'm cool. But that one serious one that will come, and I usually am able to detect it. But that's the one I'm kind of just like a little bit worried about right now, because I know that it's coming. It's 100% going to come, and so I guess I'm kind of just worried about that one.
Okay. So why are we worried about it?
I guess just because I've lost to it so many times. I've done
But you
this
know what
like,
to do?
yes, just gotta feel it.
Yeah.
I just gotta feel it. So and I guess when you put it that way, it is really simple. I just have to feel. I just have to feel. Um, but that this habit might be the final, like, what's the word? The final stepping stone to like a real big breakthrough, or it might be the final. This habit might be the main coping mechanism that I've used to like kind of run or hide from whatever it is I'm hiding slash running from. So I mean, maybe that's why it's so strong. Maybe that's why it feels stronger than the other ones. So I guess I'm kind of just afraid of whatever that might be. But if I simply choose to just feel it and understand it and be aware ahead of time that I'm going to feel very uncomfortable and expect that, then that's just all it should be. And it shouldn't be
Yes,
that
it's
bad.
exactly what it should be. Like the only way to fixing this is to feel uncomfortable. There is no other way. There are no shortcuts. We can't avoid it. We're going to feel uncomfortable and look forward to Thursday, see what happens.
Yeah. And I don't know. I should even potentially try to get myself psyched up for that
Hmm.
uncomfortable feeling. Just understanding that, this is how I know things are working. I feel like shit right now. Hooray! Like, I don't know. I was trying to.
Yeah.
It's like, this is
I
the
mean, we don't
process.
have to
This
be
is
like,
it.
yes, it's
Yeah.
awesome to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
But just knowing that every time you feel uncomfortable, you're one step closer.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to go through that uncomfortable feeling 100 times, maybe 150 times, and then you're there. You're like, okay, one down, two,
Yeah.
because there will be a set amount of times that you have to do this before it's automatic. And we don't know how many that is. That's kind of the trick. Like maybe it's just 50. But that's expected to be like 150. Okay? We just have to get them one by one until we get there. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's just going to click and you're going to be there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I feel like it's just like training an animal. I mean, that animal has that wild, instinctive, just craziness, and for I guess for my situation, it's just like I've trained it a little bit, but then just kind of lost focus, gone off and fucked about, and then it's forgotten everything that I've taught it. Maybe a little bit of glimpses are here and there, like when I come back to it, but this is just something I got to stay on top of. It's just I've got to consistently. I don't know if I need to put a piece of paper in my room. It's just like feeling like shit is part of it, or just like make it my background on my phone, but I just need to
Yeah.
keep that focus and maybe set reminders for myself to pop up here and there daily. Something to help smooth the process over. But
Mm.
it just seems like it's a matter of me forgetting that feeling crappy. I think it's just all the drama your brain drums up to when you're feeling crappy. It tells you things, and then it's just stuff that you've probably believed for years, and it's just so easy for you to just kind of go along with the line of thinking. But Yeah, I just
Yeah.
need to manage to try to keep the focus because it's
But you know that your brain's going to give you all of those thoughts. Like you've been through this enough now to know that it's always going to come up with some bullshit.
yeah,
And we don't have to listen to it. Or we can
no.
hear it and then tell the brain, like, thanks for your advice, but the prefrontal cortex has a different opinion, and that's what we're listening to.
So what would you say part of the brain does the bullshit come from? The survival part, the reptile
Yeah. So,
part, is that it?
yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the part that puts everything on autopilot for you. That is really good for, the fight or flight response, running away from things without thinking about it. It's
Is
what's
that the
going to save your
cerebellum?
life. No, it's called the, what is it actually? The scientific, what was called the reptilian brain, or the uh, I forget. Well, so it's literally the animal brain. It's not pretty
Yeah.
much the brain that most animals have because they don't have all the other parts of the brain. That's why we usually call it like the reptilian brain, because reptiles have
Yeah.
pretty much that. It's just all about fight, flight, survival, whatever it is, and it saves you energy because you don't have to think about things, and it saves your life when you're in an emergency situation because it just reacts. And that's why we want to use the prefrontal cortex to plan everything and then stick to that plan, because then you're teaching your brain that I can stick to my plans, and I always stick to my plans, and we always do what we're planning to do. That's why when you say, okay, well, mom is making pizza this week and it's a low carb pizza, I'm going to have it, all good. Like it was part of the plan. It doesn't do anything to make your addiction worse in any way.
Yeah.
It's when we're allowing ourselves to do certain things. And I mean, we're not going to go to the exception challenge just yet. I would like you to have a couple of more weeks of this under your belt before you do that.
Hmm.
But when we do that, it's the same thing. That we don't have to make any drama about it. It just is. Like this is part of life. This is what I already decided.
Hmm.
So you were talking about ways that you could set reminders for yourself. Can you tell me of at least one or two that you are going to do definitely to remind yourself that you're supposed to feel like shit? Oh, hello,
Yes. I just got
baby.
the baby now. She's got a haircut today. Um, sorry, I'm talking to my mom. Oh no. Okay. So what I think I'm gonna do first is probably change my background on my phone. Maybe I'm just going to write a note and make my background something like feeling uncomfortable. Oh, she's having one of her little moments. Just like I don't know how I should word it. Like feeling uncomfortable is expected, or um, I'll have to brainstorm about that. What do you? Can you think of like a good little phrase?
Um, that fits on the phone.
Yeah,
um, like being uncomfortable will give me the results, maybe, or
like being uncomfortable equals growth or something.
yeah.
Something like that can work. But yeah, I think that would be a good one because I mean it's just something I'm going to see quite a few times. I think I could set like with a reminder app. I could set a reminder for every day this week, or I could even toggle it for the next month to just pop up something for me around I don't know whatever time I'm going to be awake, and just have a nice little positive message to myself. I'll just say, "Hey, this is Jarod from the future. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
You're gonna feel like probably crap today. You're gonna have cravings, but you know this is part of it. You've dealt with this many days, so just keep going. Things like that. Just
Oh, I had
things.
this app before. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like sending a text message, but it sent it to yourself. And I
Hmm.
don't have it anymore. I can't remember what it was called, but it was pretty good for those kind of things. I'll see if I can figure it out what it was called, and I will let you
Hmm.
know.
That sounds
Because
cool.
then you can just write from future Jarod, or actually from your past self, like, hey, I know that you probably don't feel very well now, but please be kind to future Jarod because
He's counting on
this
you.
is what we want, like, or whatever.
Yeah. Get
which is
fun with
simply
it. Get creative with it. That's probably gonna make it better too. Try to
yeah.
have some fun with it.
I mean, I always say like your ability or your willingness to feel uncomfortable emotions would be directly correlated to your results that you're getting. Like this is when we resist it, we're not getting anywhere. When you're willing to feel uncomfortable, that's when you're getting somewhere.
Hmm. And I'm gonna get. I mean, I bought the rubber band bag. I just don't have one on yet. But yeah,
I
so
was
I
gonna
think,
ask.
yeah, that's gonna be a big part of it. Just getting a few of those snaps in when I start to feel it, just to remind me to just continue to, not to help me to stop feeling it, but just to kind of trick me into. If I do it like every single time, my hand's gonna probably fall off. But just to kind of get me into that mode, like I might even do like some Pavlov type shit, like conditioning, like to try to just like the first few times I have the craving, I'm gonna snap, and I'm gonna intentionally be like, okay, it's time to feel. So maybe I
Mm,
can kind of just like make that autonomic and just kind of go try that.
yeah,
Just so you can try something like that too, see if that kind of helps the process.
can hear a snore. I was like, what the hell's going on? And how did it go with the procrastination in the morning?
This with doing my studies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just tough this week because I guess I think maybe an hour is too much at first. I think I maybe almost even shrink it down because I think
Okay.
for me in my brain it's just like, oh my god, an hour. Um, I may even just try to shrink it down to just actively do the studying. Just do it uh, once a day. Just do it. It doesn't matter how long it is. Just try to get in there and dig into a concept that you don't know. Don't put a time limit on it because then that's too
Yeah.
much. So I didn't really get a lot of it done this week. I did do Spanish studies this week. I guess because I find it more enjoyable. Plus, I already have somewhat of a proficiency with it. It's not as intimidating to me of a subject. So, um, yeah, and that all the extra work, it just made me very exhausted this week. Plus, giving up the coffee, so it was just kind of an
Mm,
adjustment week. Like I'm gonna have to
okay.
work doubles again next week too. So, oh yeah. Um, so there's
So do
just, I
we
guess,
still want to study once a day?
yeah. I mean, maybe even that's too much. I mean, I think I have the time for it, but you're trying to steal the show, aren't you? Um, I don't know. I have um I have the course I'm trying to do, but I also have an app on my phone, so maybe I would commit to at least visiting the app on my phone, which is teaching me the same thing every day, and
Yeah.
maybe do serious studying like 3 times a week or something, where I sit down and actually try to carve through this course online. Um, I mean, something.
Okay. Yeah. So like we do something towards learning one of these things every day.
Yeah, do something.
Yeah.
Something to point me in that direction.
Yeah. Even if it's just 2 minutes. Like, okay, I looked at the app, I learned two new words, whatever, done.
I guess I'm not as focused on it because I guess I really haven't set a why around it. Part of me is kind of like, why do you want to do coding? Because, um, and I guess the biggest why that I've come to the conclusion with is just because it's just a skill. It's a skill that could potentially help me become a little bit more financially free, and I can't think of another thing to that I can learn to do for free. On
Mm.
top of that, that would kind of put me in that direction. So I guess I really just need to kind of tackle that in my head, the why about it, because it's not
Yeah.
like something I want to do, but it's something that I think that I could learn to do, and it would be turned into something that I would like to do. I don't know. Like once I get in there and start to get a little bit proficient with it, who knows? I could fall in love with it, but
Yeah. It's
yeah,
just
I don't
one
know.
way to find out.
Yeah,
do it for a bit. Maybe it grows on you. Maybe you're like, no, this is definitely not my thing.
Yeah,
But at least you know.
yeah.
Okay, so tell me, what's going to happen this week coming up?
Kenzie, come on, man. Oh, sorry. Um, he's getting restless. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna, as soon as I get off here, I'm gonna try to set up a couple of reminders, try to make that background change, and just get kind of mentally prepared to start feeling. Just realize that this next week's going to be difficult in lots of regards. I've got to work a couple double shifts, and now I've really got this, and then I can't get lax on the carb stuff either, because I know that's gonna my brain's got all kinds of tricks to use against me. So I just got to realize that just get ready to feel and deal. Just deal with it, be there, and try to be as present as possible.
Hmm. I mean, sounds like a good plan to me.
I think so.
And when you feel the resistance to actually allow yourself to feel the cravings, what do we do then? What thoughts are you going to?
Well, I'm probably gonna text you way more this week, if that's all
Yay!
right.
Of course.
Um, and yeah, I think trying to really play with that mind game of the rubber band to get me into the focus mode. Try to really dial into that, and then eventually, hopefully, get to the place where I don't even have to use the rubber band. It's just kind of like second nature. But I think that might be a good little catalyst to helping me snap into focus mode, snap or the rubber band. So I think that would be probably a good strategy.
What I would suggest is that you spend a little bit of time trying to get excited about this 90-day goal that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like really why it's 90 days. Like why I mean, you already said it, but get excited about it. Like, yeah, that would be awesome if I could figure out how I'm going to feel when I get there. Like, what thoughts do you need to have around doing this for 90 days that will get you excited?
Yeah, that does
Or
sound
maybe,
challenging.
yeah, okay. Well, and if that's challenging, start with okay, well, there's supposed to be like a testosterone spike after 1 week. Maybe we can just get excited about that for now, and then we can revisit the 90 days maybe next week and do that together.
Yeah, that'll probably be good. I'll try to drum up some excitement about it. Maybe try to find some motivational videos or something to kind of like stir me up. But we'll try to do
Yeah.
something.
I mean that always works. I mean, I'm gonna admit that I do listen to a lot of like coaches that some of them I've hired or I'm part of their programs and some of them I'm not. But I do listen to a lot of stuff to always keep myself like full of ideas and motivation and keeping my brain on the right side of like positive, negative thoughts where I want my brain to be.
Exactly.
So
And
there's
just,
absolutely nothing wrong with using other like people who have succeeded and what they say, but still their motivation for goodness sake, if that works.
yeah, I mean, it's just energy. And once get some of their stuff, you're just kind of riding on that wave that they're trying to put out there. And, you know, so it's just a matter of, once again, just where you put your focus, where you put your attention.
Yep.
People always talk about money, but I really think the two biggest currencies in life are what you spend your time on and what you pay attention to. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I think those are the real big currencies in life, honestly. Time
Yeah.
and attention.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we know what to do.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, we're in for a week. So
you're gonna do
in for a
it.
good week.
You're totally gonna do it. You've done it before. You still hold the
Hmm.
record for most allowed cravings in a week. You can do it again. I don't think anyone is gonna beat that one for a while.
I maybe this week if I start writing those ones down for this specific.
Possibly.
But we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well,
It may
maybe
be.
that
It
could
may
be a
not be
goal.
as bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Right. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Sorry that I can't chat with you. Thanks for the congratulations on the 4K. Yes, that happened yesterday sometime. Hi, Rachel. Miss
Oh, very
Hippie.
good. That's awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. So I'll see you guys next week when we shall be back again. Bye.